Hey everyone, my name is Soraya, and I just wanted to share a little bit about my personal story, my twin flame journey, and my experience with Jeff and Shaleia's work because it has been absolutely life changing. And I wanted to be able to share this with you guys because I know that there's a lot of stuff out there, and I know what it's like to know your twin flame, to have these feelings for somebody that you can't describe, and to have like you can't be together, because there's just something like it isn't working. And it's so confusing and it's so frustrating to mutually have such strong feelings for each other, but yet not be able to make it work. And, for me, I didn't know what twin flames were when I started this journey. I had just gotten out of my longest relationship, which was like 2.5 years. And we'd reached that point where we were like, maybe we should talk about marriage. And I did a lot of soul searching because I'd seen other relationships and I'd experienced relationships in my own life where I knew that after a period of time, like, you go through that infatuation phase and you start projecting and dreaming and imagining things with this person. And then like 6-8 months in, you start really settling into the relationship and you actually get to know who this person really is and whether or not you're truly compatible. And you just kind of see like people actually settle into relationships. They don't go with relationships as they naturally would. They begin to start compromising and start kind of finding little areas where they have to, hold themselves back or restrict themselves in some way in order to make the relationship work, because you're essentially dealing with two different people. And I just knew in my heart, I was like, I can't do that. Like, I've always valued my freedom. I've always valued, growing and learning and expanding and evolving. And I just knew like it would be so challenging for me to find somebody who I could actually grow with, not just be with, there's in the Bible, it talks about being equally yoked. Well, you're equally yoked with somebody in your 20s, but what about when you're in your 40s and your 50s? You're two different people and you have to bridge the gap. And I just saw like so many people have to sacrifice so many things in their own life personally in order to make their relationship work. And I was like, I just can't do it. And so I told God, I was like, I would rather be alone. Like, I would rather be alone with you than to settle in a relationship that I know is going to be very expensive for me emotionally, spiritually, mentally, energetically over the course of my life. Like, I don't know that I can pay that high of a price just to be with somebody. And I would rather just be alone. I'd rather just be happy on my own and just live my life and do my own thing. And that was the way that I approached life. And I settled into it and I made peace with it. And I was like, okay, God, like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm totally at peace with that. I imagined my life living that way and I was okay with it. And just a few days later, I met my twin flame. I didn't know what twin flames were. Had I known, probably would have asked for that first, but I didn't know what they were. I was kind of cynical when it came to relationships, if you haven't noticed. So when we first, met each other, it was like, it blew my mind. I had never met somebody who I was that much in alignment with without trying, without, it wasn't, we wanted the same things, we had the same desires, but we weren't like trying to be a certain way for each other. We weren't, like, I didn't say I like this and he was like, yeah, I think I like that too. Like, no, he felt the same way that I felt about every area of life. Like, we had the same values, we had the same opinions, we wanted the same things out of life. We cared about the same things. We wanted the same things in each other. Everything that I wanted in a partner, like, that was him. And everything that he ever wanted in a partner was me. And it wasn't like I was trying to be that. And it wasn't like he was trying to be that. It was just so natural. And it was something that, like, you can't describe unless you've experienced it. Just the connection itself, the chemistry, the feelings, like, it's really like, it's out of this world. It's something that, coming from a place of not believing in that kind of love, that kind of depth of connection with somebody, it really changed me. And it really changed my life, and I didn't understand it. And it was about 1.5 years or so before I even found out about twin flames. So in that time, we started having some issues, and it wasn't ever with our connection, obviously, because twin flames are naturally compatible, and it's naturally easy, the connection itself. But what we noticed is like we had a hard time spending time together. We had a hard time, like being in each other's physical presence, for any length of time. We would spend like weekends together, and then we wouldn't be able to for a while. And we couldn't ever like actually like walk through and like become a couple. As weird as that sounds, like, you meet somebody and you have that kind of connection with them, it's like naturally you're going to be with that person. Naturally, like, why wouldn't you be with that person? There's no reason not to. But we couldn't ever do it. Like, we couldn't ever commit. We couldn't ever spend long lengths of time together. And it was so frustrating. And it was really hard. And it kind of like, I felt like I was going crazy at times because it was so unnerving. And, we were just so confused. Like, both of us, we were like, I don't understand. Like, I would kind of ask him, I would be like, well, what's going on your end? Like, why can't we make this work from your side? And he was like, I don't know. I just always have all these things going on and I can't do it. And like, it's just like, we couldn't ever make it work. And it was so frustrating. I cannot describe. And if you're in that place, like, I understand. Like, if you have met your twin flame and you're in some form of separation outwardly and you don't understand like what's happening and why it's happening, and you just feel totally in the dark, and at the same time you feel this love for somebody and it's like you can't shake it no matter what you do, like, I get it. And I know that that's a scary place to be. I know it's a painful, like, more than anything, it's a painful place to be. And it's confusing because it's like, everything you've been taught about relationships, it's not the same. It's a different ball game and you don't understand it. And so, yeah, needless to say, that was me. And I like searched online to try to understand what we were experiencing. And I just Googled the experiences we had and the nature of the connection between us and how on point it was. And I found the term twin flame. And I'm like an intellectual type person. Like, I like to learn. I like to, grow and expand. And so like for me, when I found about twin flames, I'm like, I was very skeptical at first, but I wanted to know everything there was to know about it. And so I just started searching online and started doing research and went on YouTube and just search for twin flames there. There was a lot of weird stuff on YouTube. First of all, weird stuff on YouTube. I was like, they were talking about like a portal. Like, I was like, what's a portal? Like, your twin flame will come with this portal. Like, what is a portal? And they would say, like, if you just wait and if you just, just love yourself and wait, your twin flame will just show up. Like, wait for what? Like, we're just like, look, we're two normal people. We're not this woo-woo spiritual thing. We're normal people. We just have a special connection. And everybody was talking about it, like hyping it up so much, like spiritually, like it's this so spiritual and all these things have to come into alignment in order for you to be together. Like, the stars have to come into alignment. It's like, it just sounded like a bunch of like bull. Honestly, I was like, I can't buy into that. That's some weird stuff. But I found Jeff and Shaleia, and I literally, like, the reason I even clicked on their video was because their name is like ours, and they're our age. They were about our age, like in, late 20s, early 30s, which was about where we were back then. And yeah, I noticed that they were together. Like, it wasn't just like one person talking about their twin flame. Like, they were actually together. So they were like proving that they could be together. And they had videos on every topic. So I just started like watching all of their videos to just learn about it. And I learned like how to identify your twin flame. I learned, what separation is, how mirroring works in your union, how to heal separation with the mirror exercise. I learned it all. And I just was just like, the more I watched their videos, the more everything made sense. Like, our connection, what we had experienced, what we went through, everything made sense. And Jeff and Shaleia were basically like holding my hand through the whole thing. And they were like, this is what you're going through. We get it. We've been there. And there is a way to solve it. And if you just do this, you'll get the result. And it was like so practical and so simple. It wasn't wait for something to happen. It was like very empowering, because it was like, you're able to heal separation. Like, you don't need to wait for life to give it to you. As a matter of fact, you can't, because they are you. Your twin flame is you. And so they always pointed you within. And yeah, just like their core teaching, it just made sense. It made sense in my background in ministry, the way that they talked about God, the way that they talked about love, the way that they talked about like fear and letting go of fear, healing fear, releasing those old beliefs. It all made sense. It made so much sense. And as a matter of fact, like coming from a ministry background, like ministry leadership background, it was like what they were teaching was like the answer that a lot of Christians had been looking for and had been struggling without, that I saw in ministry. They would come to me with the same issues all the time. And we were all kind of running these same cycles as Christians. And it was like, this makes so much sense because God is love. Like, of course, like you can love God, like you can worship God and you can say all these amazing things about God and you can teach about God. And that's nice. But if you're not giving God to yourself, then you're going to be hurting and you're going to be wounded. And if God is love, that means to give love to yourself. That's one of the things that Christians struggle with the most is issues around identity, issues around claiming they're good and feeling worthy and allowing themselves to be happy and yeah, just claiming God for themselves. And so anyway, everything they said made sense in so many different ways, in so many different areas of my life. And so, yeah, I just decided to just do what they said, like do the mirror exercise, which is basically 4 steps. It's super easy. You identify an upset, you identify a place within you that you're hurting, and you just give love there. You give God to yourself there. And I just started doing that. And I started noticing, like, really soon after, like, my life was improving. And it was improving in ways that I didn't even know that it could improve in. I used to have a lot of anxious thoughts, for instance. Like, I used to just worry about a lot of things, try to figure a lot of things out, try to be in control. And all of that just diminished. And I started really relaxing into my life and feeling more at peace with myself. I started, feeling more energy throughout the day, sleeping better, having more balance. My relationships started shifting. The unhealthy relationships that were based on control or that were based on just, not having good boundaries, those relationships fell away. And the healthy relationships that were based on love, like they grew and they were strengthened. And all of a sudden I was surrounded by friendships and relationships with people that were just so loving and that were so sincere and healing for me and just beautiful, like wonderful relationships. And letting go of that unhealthiness and that heaviness in my life. More and more as I did this work, I just started noticing every area of my life improving. Like I would literally, even to this day, it feels like I'm going through my life and I'm doing like spring cleaning. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to heal the area of, my beauty, or I'm going to heal the area of my finances, or I'm going to heal the area of, my relationship with my family. And it's like I'm looking at all these different areas and I'm just like claiming it. I'm claiming my good with God. I'm like, God, I claim my perfect relationship with my family, for instance. And God reveals to me the blocks that I need to heal, and I heal it with Jeff and Shaleia's work. And it's just like science. It just works. And as I heal it, I begin to manifest more and more of the life that I want in that area. And it's so empowering to feel that and to know that I can heal anything in my life. Because now it's like, whatever comes up, it's okay. I can just heal it. And it does produce results because essentially Jeff and Shaleia realized that everything comes down to your relationship with God. And once you heal your relationship with love and with yourself, everything else in your life naturally gets better. You don't have to control to get your good. You don't have to bargain and sacrifice to get your good. You just love yourself in these areas that you weren't loving yourself before, and everything else comes into alignment. And so yeah, I found this work, I started applying it, and I started getting real results. I started seeing miracles in my union with my man, and we just naturally, just like Jeff and Shaleia said, we naturally came together, and it's always been effortless. It's always been easy. I realized that it's actually the most low maintenance relationship I could ever be in, because we don't actually have to do things to make it work. It's just always right there, right when we need it, right in the way that we need it. God loves us through each other because we're loving ourselves in those areas. And it's just natural and it's easy. And if somebody had told me when I first met him that this was how easy it actually was, would have saved me a lot of time and energy, because I spent like I said, a good year and a half struggling, like not understanding what we were experiencing, why it was the way it was, and why we couldn't just be together. And now it's like everything makes sense. And it's as easy as just giving love to myself. It's as easy as just giving God to myself. And, you know, I don't really focus on trying to be with my twin flame or get my twin flame, because he's just always there and we're always with each other, and it's just natural. And all my energy goes to my life and taking care of myself and loving myself, healing my own self. And that's what blesses every area of my life. And that's what heals my relationships. That's what takes care of everything I ever want and need, is just taking care of myself. And so as I focus on myself, you know, he's there and he's always there. And it's just a much more peaceful way to go about life, needless to say, a lot easier than the alternative. And so, yeah, it's like you're retraining yourself to live life in a way that is healing for you, not in a way that is running patterns. Most people are living like essentially the same year over and over, or the same decade over and over. And they go through like a midlife crisis because they're like, my life is not what I wanted it to be, and I'm not fulfilled, and this isn't enough. And it just feels so empowering to know that I can heal my life from the inside out. I'm not dependent on any person or anything. And to have those tools, I can't describe to you just how wonderful it feels to know that no matter what comes up in my life, I can heal it really easily. And so, yeah, that's been my experience of Jeff and Shaleia's work. It's life-changing, and it works. You know, they're not just here to get attention. Like, all those people who were talking about all that high spiritual stuff, wait for the portal. Like, first of all, it sucks to be told that you have to wait for your good, that, like, you're not with God now, you have to wait to be with God. One day your good is going to come. One day Prince Charming is going to show up. Like, that doesn't actually feel good. That sucks. And secondly, they don't have what they're professing. Like, they're not with their twin flame in harmonious union. They're in separation themselves. They're struggling themselves. Like, someone can't give you water if they don't have it for themselves. That's why, like, they always say you have to love yourself first before you can love others. It's because you can't give people what you don't have. And there's a lot of stuff out there that'll just waste your time and not get you anywhere. But what Jeff and Shaleia offer is what they have. And what they have is what we want. And that is harmonious union with our twin flame. We want to be with our true love. We don't want to settle for a life that's less than what we're capable of. And so, yeah, like, if you're on this journey, I couldn't recommend their work any more than I already have. Like, it's really that good, and it really does work. And, you know, it's not worth it to be in pain, and you don't have to be in pain. You don't have to stay stuck. And so it's one of those things, just try it out. Like, it's self-love. It's not like you have to, like, do anything crazy. Just love yourself in the way that they teach. The book lays it out. It gives you 4 steps. It's super easy. Try it out and you'll see the results. That's how I approached it. I was very skeptical. I didn't even believe in twin flames until God was like, he sent so many signs, so many miracles. Like, eventually I just broke down. I was like, okay, twin flames are real. Like, it took a long time, even having experienced it personally firsthand, to actually believe that this was actually real. Like, it was possible to have a twin flame. Like, that was so crazy to me. And so I was as skeptical as they come, and I was convinced by just applying it. And so I know you can be too. And I want that for you. I want you to have your peace and your heaven on earth. And you deserve it. You know, there's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you're searching, and the answers are there for you. God hasn't abandoned you. He is pointing you to the truth so that you can be free. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for listening and just allowing me to share my story and share my heart with you. I'm just really thankful to be here and to have this work. And that's the greatest gift I can give you, is to know this work as well. And so I'm going to leave you with that. I wish you all the best. I love you very much, and I will see you soon on this channel.